Today is part one in a two-part seller strategy masterclass on how you can find product opportunity, spy on the competitors, even do some keyword research, and much more, all from just using the Chrome extension. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And today, this is going to be part one, as I mentioned, in a two-part series. We're diving deep into the Chrome extension. We haven't done this in a couple of years, but there's so many new features that are available that can help you just doing research on the fly that you might not have realized. Like, did you know you can be on any website, and then if you happen to catch an idea for a product, you can actually, without even having to go to Amazon, without having to go to Helium 10, from that website, use a Chrome extension in order to do some like keyword research and demand research on that. That's just one of the many, many tools that we've got that can help you out. So get your notes ready, and Carrie's going to help you guys with how you can leverage the Chrome extension to increase your sales on Amazon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie Miller, and today I'm very excited to take you through our latest Helium 10 Chrome extension masterclass. Okay, so today we're going to dive into the most used Chrome extension in Amazon seller history. And it's not just one tool, it's a full set of tools. There's 10 plus tools all in one. There's over 4 million users who have used this actual tool. So, that's a lot of Amazon sellers. And then there's also currently more than 1 million active users using the Chrome extension right now. So it's definitely trusted by Amazon sellers that are beginners all the way through advanced. And it's definitely a tool that you need if you are selling on Amazon. So how can you install it? It's super easy. You just go to h10.me/extension, which is the Chrome web store. And then you're going to download the extension there and then add it to your Chrome extensions that you already potentially have. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Basically, what I want to do is give you a little overview of what is in the extension. And there's a lot that's in here, okay? So I'm going to just pull down this drop down, and this is going to show you some of the things that are in our Chrome extension. The first thing is our X-ray tool. Now, this is probably the most popular portion of our tool as a whole. It basically helps you to see estimated sales. You can see pricing, competition. You basically can see and pull all the information from the page that you're on the search results, and you can see all the information about, potential sales revenue. You can see, total sales, child ASIN sales, all of it broken down. So a lot of great info. You can see reviews, everything. Okay. So that is going to be, we're going to go into detail about some strategies to use that later, but that is probably our most used portion of this Chrome extension. The next thing is X-ray keywords. Now, X-ray keywords is a very simple to use tool that is going to show you a quick overview of the keywords that are important for whatever product you're looking at. So instead of having to go all the way and log into Helium 10, you can actually just pull X-ray keywords right here, and it's going to show you the most relevant keywords for that particular product. And then the next thing we have here is ASIN Grabber. Now, this is a super easy tool that's going to basically help you to grab all the ASINs that are on a page. So say you're on a product details page and you want to see, grab all the ASINs that are, doing sponsored ads on that page. You can actually pull ASIN Grabber, and it's going to show all of them. You can download a list of all those, and you can use it for your PPC targeting. So it's a really easy thing to do. You can also download, frequently bought together products, all of that, so you can have it for your records and just to use as different strategies. And the next thing is profitability calculator. So when you're on a product detail page, you actually can calculate potential profits. So if you're looking for a product to sell and you find one that's similar to what you want to sell, you can pull it up on that page, and it's going to show you all of the information from that page. And it's going to help you to kind of just do some calculations. Maybe you want to, change the dimensions of the packaging, or maybe you want to, add in that there's tariffs right now. You can do all of that to kind of see what your profitability might be. And it's very quick and very easy to use. So we'll go into detail about that. Inventory levels are going to show you the inventory levels for any product detail page you're on. So it could be your own, or it could be your competitors. And most of the time you want to look at your competitors to see how much inventory they have left. And there's a few strategies with that we'll go into later. And my favorite part one of my favorite parts is the review insights. You can actually go onto a product detail page and download all of the review insights from a page. So I love that one because you can take those downloads. You can go to and upload it to something like ChatGPT and ask it questions like, hey, what do people love most about my product? What do people dislike about my product? What do you think, I should highlight most of all in my listing? All kinds of questions. You can ask it anything. And since you have that download, you can simply upload it and it'll help filter it for you. We also have something that is a supplier finder tool. And that supplier finder tool is going to help you to instantly match a product to potential manufacturers using Alibaba. And that is a lot, again, with this Chrome extension. And we also have a tool called Demand Analyzer, and you can use this tool on any website. So you don't have to be on the Amazon page, but you can basically gauge, what the potential is on Amazon, whether or not you're on, eBay or Etsy or a random Shopify site. You can actually do some searches there and find some information. And I'll get into that strategy soon to show you in detail how to do that. But overall, this tool is an incredible tool, and it's probably one of our most used tools. And it's something that if you don't have it, you definitely want to make sure that it's in your toolbox as a seller, because if you don't have this tool, you could be leaving tons of money on the table. And so go ahead and download it if you haven't already downloaded it.
Not sure on what main image you should choose from? Or maybe you don't know whether buyers would be interested in your product at a certain price point. Perhaps you want feedback on your new brand or company logo. Get instant and detailed market feedback from actual Amazon Prime members by using Helium 10 Audience. Just enter in your poll or questions, and within a short period of time, 50 to 100 or even more Amazon buyers will give you detailed feedback on what resonates with them the most. For more information, go to h10.me/audience.
All right, let's go into strategy number 1, which is how to use the demand analyzer and how to gauge demand even though you're on a website like Alibaba, Shopify, or Etsy or something like that. So I'm going to go to alibaba.com, and what I've actually already done here is I searched bat shelf, and then I chose this bat shelf right here. And then once you're on this page, basically, you can click on this little icon right here, and it's actually going to show you the company overview. And this is a great way if you're kind of like needing new ideas of things to sell. You can actually go into the products of that website, because basically it shows it's a hub on Alibaba for that manufacturer, and they're going to show you all the different products that they sell. So you can actually find a bunch of different opportunities. So maybe we'll do let's see here. Let's do Halloween decor. Okay, so if we're looking at Halloween decor, we can actually see a bunch of, potential opportunities there. Or say we wanted to, look at wooden puzzle, we can actually find something like that. And then what we want to do is we want to pull our Chrome extension, our Helium 10 Chrome extension, and click Analyze Product Demand on Amazon. And what this is going to do is it's going to help you to kind of analyze. So this is these are wooden puzzles. So maybe I'll just do animal wooden 3D puzzles, or just do, I'll just do wooden 3D puzzles. Wooden 3D puzzles, because that's what we're seeing here. Okay, so I'm gonna just hit analyze, and I'm gonna see what we have here in terms of potential. Okay, so this pulls up the Amazon data. It's gonna show, the actual search volume is kind of low. Total revenue for that is about, close to 700,000 a month. Average revenue for a seller is 5,000, but you can see these keywords here. It looks like there's a pretty good search volume for 3D wooden puzzles, and then some other different, kind of keyword terms. So that is something you can actually expand and go to Cerebro to find a little bit more if you wanted to. But then it also shows you the top products here, so you can see what kind of products. So it looks like that's kind of a bow and arrow 3D puzzle. Looks like kind of like a marble 3D puzzle, a piano 3D puzzle. So you can kind of see and gauge what kind of thing you might want to sell. And maybe it doesn't have enough search volume. Maybe you might not want to sell that particular product. So that's totally fine. So you don't have to do this all just on Alibaba. You can go to other sites. You can go to eBay, Etsy, but you can also take a look at Shopify sites. So if I pull up this Shopify site, I'm just going to go to women's. I'm just going to click on women right here and see what we have. So we've got some moccasins right here. Okay, so maybe we're wanting to see, are moccasins in demand? So we can basically do the same thing and pull the demand analyzer, moccasins. We're going to analyze this to see what we have. Okay, so we've got, pretty good search volume for moccasins, 2,700. And then, there's certain brand names, but then maybe there's moccasins for men, moccasins for women. And you can kind of see that there's a good amount of demand or search volume actually for moccasins. So you can see the total revenue. So you can analyze the demand here by taking a look at the top products, all of that. So you don't even have to go to Amazon to see that quick information and maybe put this on your short list for potential products to sell. So this is a really great tool. Again, you can use it on any website, and it's going to help you to kind of quickly see whether or not you might be potentially interested in selling this particular product. Okay, the next strategy number 2, and this is how to get useful information on listings in search results without even a click. So we here have searched coffin shelf right now, and you can actually scroll down and you're going to be able to see all of this information down here without even having to click on anything. So one of my favorite things that you can see is that you can see the most clicked. So you can see this is the top clicked coffin shelf right here, and this is the second top clicked, and this is the third. Okay, so that gives you a good idea of maybe just by looking at their listing, their main images. Okay, maybe is mine not in the top 3, maybe I should look at these top 3 images to see why they might be beating me, and potentially, try to get your image right so that you can get those top clicks. Okay. So you can see that the top clicked right there, which is super helpful for any keyword that you want. You can also see the ASIN. It's going to make it really easy for you to just copy paste right there. You can see the BSR of the product right there, ready to go. And then another thing you can see is variations and sellers. Okay. So you might want to say, how many variations are there? Lots of sizing and coloring. Sellers, you can see, whether or not it's more of a wholesale or arbitrage product. So if there's, like 15 sellers on there, you're going to know it's probably more of a wholesale arbitrage type product. And then you can also see what kind of fulfillment. Now, if you do click, so this is the click part, you can actually see the 30-day revenue and the unit sales without having to actually pull the extension up here, which makes it really easy to just kind of see this data and information for the particular products that you want to see it for. Now, if you wanted to do another click, if we go up to the top here, we actually have this where you can actually hit show more and hit show full summary, and it's going to give you a summary of this entire page. So it's going to give you kind of, the total revenue, who might be where the seller origins are, where the majority of sellers are. So say you see like there's mostly Chinese sellers, you might think, okay, maybe they're beating me on price, or, you would think about that. Or if they're all US sellers, you can say, hey, this is going to be kind of challenging for marketing because usually they know how to market to the US population. So there's a lot of things you can see from this, but you can see the size tier, fulfillment, all kinds of great information. You can scroll over to see, and you can see different views right here. So if you want to play around with that, this is just a load of information. You don't even have to pull the extension to get this information and get these quick glances of info if you would like it. All right, let's go ahead and get into strategy number 3, which is how to see what other marketplaces an Amazon product is listed in, okay? And this is pretty simple. What you need to do is you're actually going to just go to a product detail page. So you can see that we're on the Many's Mysterious Oddities coffin shelf page, and up in the top right corner, all you have to click on under all marketplaces is see more data, okay? And this is going to give you a drop down of all the marketplaces that your product is being sold in. So you can see it looks like it's been listed in Germany for about $47, and Brazil for $83, and a bunch of different countries down here. And so something to think about when you're looking at this is, okay, first of all, if this is my product, if there are other people selling in other countries, they might be selling, maybe counterfeit products and might be getting you bad reviews. So that's something you want to monitor and make sure that's not happening. But also, if you're looking at your competitor's page, you might see, oh, wow, this coffin shelf is selling tons and tons of coffin shelves maybe it's in the UK or, in Germany or wherever it is. You can kind of think, okay, since my competitor is doing pretty well over there, I could probably also sell in, whatever marketplace that is, whether it's, the UK or anything else. And you can actually, maybe get some of those sales. So it could help you to understand whether or not it's a good idea to expand to Europe or other parts of the world. So this is really good, quick view information that we have here. Anyway, you can also, see how you can potentially get these people removed if possible, but sometimes not so easy. But it's really good to know, who's selling your product or, where they're selling your product all across the world, and so that you can keep monitoring that. In addition to checking other marketplaces, you might also want to check eBay. And we have an eBay price checker. Now, this is our newest part of this section here, and if you click on eBay price checker, it's actually going to take you to eBay, and this is going to show you if that product that you're seeing is listed on eBay and for how much. Okay, so this is our product Looks like it's listed for $44.79. So somebody, potentially bought it. Maybe they didn't get a chance to return it, and so they want to sell it on eBay, and they're selling it for a higher price. And the thing that you want to make sure to do is, we're selling it for $31.97. You want to make sure that they're actually selling it at a higher price on eBay, because if they're not, then you could potentially, lose the buy box or get, suppressed on Amazon. So you want to make sure that you have that good, price. Either your price is lower on Amazon, or it's matched. Okay, so that's just a really quick way to see if your products are being sold on eBay, or any of your competitors' products, if they're selling them on eBay, and for how much. Okay, strategy number 4, how to use inventory levels. Now, this is how you can see approximately how many units your competitors have of the product that's in stock. And maybe you want to see if they're about to run out, especially now with the tariffs. You want to kind of see if people are keeping in stock, or if they're just letting their stock run out because they can't really afford the tariffs. That might be a good opportunity for you to kind of, take over that market. So right now, what you can do is you can actually pull the extension, and you can see inventory levels by clicking on inventory levels. And this is going to show you how much is in stock. So you can see for FBA fulfillment, you can see there's 3 in stock. And then for merchant fulfilled items, you have just 1 in stock there. So you can see the amount of stock that is available for anything. So again, you're going to want to take a look at this for your competitors, but you can also look at it in a different way. Like if you have hijackers, they would actually show up here. So if there's more than 1 seller in the inventory levels, you're going to be able to see how much inventory they have. And so say, you have a hijacker on your listing, and there's, 500 units on it, or something like that, you're going to probably want to take action. Whereas if they have like 1 or 2 units, maybe they were a customer who bought it and changed their mind and wanted to sell it. So you might not really, want to do too much about that. But if it is some other company that has a ton of units and they're selling on your listing, that's something to be aware of. And you can check it by using this. Okay. So a lot of different ways to use this inventory tool. And especially again, right now, currently, as I'm recording this, we have a lot of tariff things going on. So you want to see who's running out of stock and who you can potentially beat, and especially if you are remaining in stock during this time. Okay, strategy number 5 is how to check the keyword density of an Amazon listing. And so basically, you want to see what keywords your competitors are using and where they're putting them, because it gives you kind of an insight of what keywords might be really important, but it also might give you some insights of keywords they might be listing that you actually found. So the easy way that you can do this is, when you're on a details page, you're going to scroll down, and you're going to go to where it says listing optimizer right here. Okay. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to take me to Scribbles, which is our kind of old listing tool. But what it's going to do is it's going to take you there, and it's going to fill in the exact copy that's on this listing. So if this is your competitor, you can put in your phrases here, and you can hit apply once you do, and you'll be able to see, where they put those. So for example, coffin shelf, or coffin shelves, Gothic decor, goth shelf. Okay, so we're going to see where they have those, keywords. So you can see that it was, crossed out here. So it looks like they're not using Gothic decor. This is actually our listing, but say this is our competitor. We say, oh, there's no Gothic decor in that listing. Goth shelf is not in there, and coffin shelves. So in those exact phrase forms, but you do have, coffin, shelf, and decor needs to have, Gothic shelves in there, but goth is also in there. So you can see, where they've placed it, because it'll highlight it in these different colors, and it makes it really easy for you to understand, what your competitor is doing, what they might be missing, and how, if they're using certain keyword phrases, if they're using them in their listing. So, for example, coffin shelves is not in phrase form in this listing. Maybe that has a good search volume. That might be something you want to add to yours, or, make sure that you kind of dominate on that keyword because your competitor is kind of sleeping on it. So that is an easy way for you to check the keyword strategy and the keyword density of any Amazon listing by just simply exporting to Scribbles like that, and then checking the keywords. Okay, strategy number 6, how to tell the seasonality, pricing, and out of stock history of a competitor's product. So I'm actually on a competitor's page right here. And if we scroll down, we can actually go to this widget right here. And this is going to give us all the information that we want. And I'm going to click on all time to see the all-time history of this product, because we want to see the seasonality, the pricing, and out of stock history. If you look at this and you see this BSR or bestseller rank, that it's steady. And that's actually, the sales rank here. If you see that it's pretty steady across the board, you're going to know that that product is not seasonal. In this case, this one looks like it does have a pretty seasonal, it's steady for the most part, but it is kind of seasonal because it does spike quite a bit during the holidays. And so if you're looking for a product that isn't seasonal, you're going to want to look for a product that on this graph, it shows pretty steady sales all across the board and not huge peaks and valleys. Okay, so that's how you know it's more seasonal. You can also check the pricing history. So this one here, you can kind of scroll along this. It looks like it was listed at $36.95 back then, and now it's about $38.95. This is a good thing to keep in mind, is you can check the pricing history, especially with tariffs going on, because the tariffs, basically people are going to be having to raise their prices because of the tariffs. You're going to be able to see how much your competitors are raising their price day by day and see what their strategies are in this realm. Another thing you can do is, if as a buyer, maybe it looks like there's some sort of, crazy deal, but you can actually go back and use this as a buyer. It's kind of a customer hack, and you can see, oh, is this actually the best price? And you can actually go and see where the best price was. And if they have a history of maybe putting this particular product on sale during something like Prime Day, and then you can buy it during that time to save some money. So that's just a little side note here. But you can also, check if someone has gone out of stock. Now, if a competitor hasn't gone out of stock, you're not going to see it, but you're going to usually be able to see the sales rank. It just kind of goes, it's going to basically go out without any, peaks or valleys or anything like that. So you'll be able to see when someone stocks out of their products. So this is a really great and helpful little graph to be able to see all of this information quickly and efficiently. Okay, strategy number 7, how to use the profitability calculator and what impact packaging size might make. So basically, when you're on a product listing page, Helium 10 is going to be able to, in our profitability calculator, pull the information from any Amazon product. So you can see, the size, dimensions, the price, and all that. And you can actually kind of manipulate some of these numbers, especially if it's a product that you're considering selling. You can change the numbers based on your own numbers to see what the potential profits would be. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the profitability calculator here. And what it's going to show is I have the first tab open it's FBA, so fulfillment by Amazon. So this product, you can see the price and the dimensions that are pulled in, the weight, and what the size tier is. And if you scroll down, you can see that there's a place for manufacturing costs. Now I can put in my own manufacturing cost. Right now it just kind of automated. It basically said, okay, it's $6.39. That's not necessarily true. You put your actual cost of goods. And if it's something that you're wanting to sell, you can go to Alibaba and get a kind of a guesstimate of what your potential price would be, and you could put it in there. And then you can go down here and put in some storage fees as well as the tariffs. So right now they're about 145%. So you could add in the tariffs and any other costs that you might have for this. Okay, so let's go back up to the packaging section. And this is really important for profitability because you want to have the lightest, most compact product packaging, because it's going to help you to save on fulfillment by Amazon fees. The heavier and the bigger your product is, the more they're going to charge you, and that could really eat away at your profitability. And I'm going to show you an example of this. Okay, so this product here is 9 by 9 by 9 for the product specs. Okay, so let's see if we change a little bit, what can happen. So right now we have a large, bulky sized here. What if I were to change this? If I were to change this to an 8, okay, so that changed it to a large standard size. Now that is going to make a huge difference in terms of pricing. Okay, so we've got, our margins here are only $3.91. Our net is only $3.91. And if I change this to, even just shaving an inch off, it goes all the way up to $8.16. So I basically, by shaving 1 inch, just 1 inch off of this package, put myself into the large standard size tier instead of the large bulky. And that gave me $5 extra per unit. Okay, that's pretty huge. Say you're selling thousands of units, that is going to be huge money in added to your profitability. So this is something that's really important to make sure that you are being the most precise with your packaging so that you can save the most money, because profitability is very important. Okay, strategy number 8 is we also have a profitability calculator for TikTok Shop and FBM, and that is on the same page. So you can do this by being on a page on Amazon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the extension on our product detail page here, and I'm going to click on profitability calculator. And you can see at the top, there's 2 different tabs. There's one for FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant, and then TikTok Shop. Okay, so if the FBM one is clicked, You can see all the packaging dimensions and everything, but then you're going to put in your seller fulfillment costs and all of that great stuff because you're going to be the one picking, packing, and shipping. So you can add that information to help calculate your profitability based on that. And then if you go over to the TikTok shop tab, it's very similar as well. You can actually, calculate it based on fulfillment by TikTok or multi-channel fulfillment, which you can, fulfill these things through your MCF on Amazon, or if you self-ship it. So you can calculate it a bunch of different ways based on the shipping. And you'll also be able to, this is really key, you can actually see the affiliate commission rate in there. So say you're offering a 30% commission or a 20% commission to affiliates, that's going to also be calculated into your profitability so that you can see whether or not it's going to be a good idea for you to potentially sell on TikTok Shop. So we made it super easy for you to kind of get a guesstimate of the profitability of selling on that platform. Okay, strategy number 9 is how to take a quick glance at your package size and whether or not it might be off, okay? So this is really important, especially if maybe you figured out that you wanted to have a better size for your packaging and you realize, okay, I'm way oversized and I need to get this packaging more precise so that I can have more profitability. And maybe you ship it in. Well, if you've already put in kind of your information, you're gonna need to go back and change it. And this is a way to kind of check to see if you have the correct sizing on your packaging, okay? And whether or not it's off. You're gonna scroll down just below this widget here where it says Revenue Calculator. You're gonna click on Revenue Calculator. And to the side, it shows you all of this information. So it shows you the item dimension. Now the item dimension is something that's never going to change. It's something that you put in to Amazon, and that's the actual dimensions of your product. But package dimensions is where Amazon will actually sometimes change this. Now, this is really a good strategy if you don't have Helium 10 alerts, because if you have Helium 10, you should have this alert up that if anytime your package gets changed in terms of the size, that you get an alert, because that could really save you or cost you thousands of dollars. If they change your package dimensions and put you in a higher tier, it could be costing you $5 a sale and you don't even know it. So if you have Helium 10 alerts set, that's good. But if you didn't have that, maybe you're new to Helium 10, this is how you can easily check it. So you can kind of compare, okay, so this item dimension is, 14 by 3 by 7 pretty much. The package is 15 by 4 by 7-ish, okay? So that's going to show that this is probably pretty accurate because it's not too far off in terms of the actual dimensions of the product. Now, obviously, if you have a foldable product, this isn't going to actually work for you. But for any products where the product pretty much takes up the entire size of the packaging, this is going to help you to kind of glance and see if you are in the right, or you have the right dimensions listed for your product so that you're not being overcharged for your picking, packing, and shipping. Okay, strategy number 10 is how to estimate sales if you are a wholesale or arbitrage seller. And when you're fighting for the buy box, if you're a wholesale or arbitrage seller, you're going to be basically competing with people who are within 2% of the buy box. So what I'm going to show you is how to kind of calculate what you could potentially make. And you're going to scroll down here to where it says Revenue Calculator, and you're going to click on Sales Estimator. So make sure you're on the Sales Estimator tab. And this right here is going to show under competitive offers. It's going to show you basically how many competitive offers are within 2% of the buy box. Okay, so maybe if it wasn't just me selling this, product, maybe it was like there were actually 5 people that were, fighting for the buy box. You can actually calculate per seller estimated monthly sales. So for this example, there's 12 monthly sales per competitor. So you want to see that there's a lot of sales within those top competitors, so that you can get in there and start selling wholesale or arbitrage as well and get kind of a piece of the pie. If that number is really small, it might not be worth it, or you might not be able to sell through your inventory at all. So this is something that is going to help you to kind of guesstimate whether or not you should start selling that particular product wholesale or arbitrage, or if maybe you see a huge dip in your sales and you're already selling wholesale, you can see why that maybe your competition has gotten a lot more steep. So that is a great way to go ahead and calculate when you are fighting for the buy box. Strategy number 11, how to get a list of all of the products on a product page that are showing up at any one given time in the frequently bought together section. Okay, this is going to be a really quick and easy way for you to see on any product, what people are buying together with that product. So you can maybe consider bundling, or maybe you could do some product targeting ads on those types of products. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the extension, and then you're going to go down to ASIN Grabber, and you're going to click on ASIN Grabber, and then you're going to make sure this is toggled on to show the frequently bought together, and you're going to hit open. Okay. So it's going to show now the frequently bought together products here. So looks like people are buying together our own products. It looks like they're buying the pink and the black coffin shelves together a lot. So something you could do is you could say, hey, maybe I'll do a virtual bundle, or maybe I'll just bundle them myself to make them, already kind of a package deal. And that could be something that you offer or just kind of consider. Or maybe, like I said, you can target with product targeting ads that other products. So maybe it was like a coffin shelf and maybe there was a bat shelf. You could say, hey, I'm going to advertise on that bat shelf too and show my coffin shelf because it's pretty much the same audience, and maybe they'll want to buy this together by doing it that way. So this is a really helpful strategy just to see what types of products people are buying together, and you can have a bunch of strategies to capitalize on that. Okay, strategy number 12 is you can use Ace and Grabber for product targeting, okay? And so what this can do is you can basically, search, for example, coffin shelf. That's what we're selling. And we want a list of coffin shelves that we can actually target. Or maybe we want to go and see a list of bat shelves because people usually buy a bat shelf with our coffin shelf or something like that. So basically what you can do is on the search page, you can go to the extension and pull Ace and Grabber. And this is going to pull all of the ASINs that are available on that page. So this is really helpful because what I can do is I can use this list as a list of products to target for my advertising. I can go to any list, any search result. So again, like maybe people are buying the bat shelves. So we can download a list of bat shelf sellers and I can do product targeting on that list, on those listings, so that people could potentially buy them together, or we can maybe convince people to buy ours instead. So all you have to do is pull that Ace and Grabber, and then you can actually export these. It's super easy to export, and then you can keep a record, or you can just upload it into your PPC to target those products. Now, something else you can do is you can take seasonal snapshots. So maybe you're thinking about, and it's Christmas time, you're thinking about selling a product next Christmas. You can actually go and to search the products that you want to sell and pull this Ace and Grabber, and then basically capture all of the ASINs that were on the top pages for the product that you're selling, and then you can kind of do some product research later. Now, if you have our diamond plan, you have our historical trend, you really don't need to do this because we actually give you all the historical data. But if you don't, this is a way that you could potentially kind of manually do a lot of this kind of searching for seasonal products. So that's another kind of little tidbit there. All right, that is all for our part 1 of our Chrome extension masterclass. We gave you lots and lots of strategies in this particular masterclass, but we are going to do a part 2 that's going to have a ton more strategies. So definitely stay tuned for that. But for this masterclass, if you haven't tried out these strategies as we went along, try them out and see what you think, because they can definitely, surprise you and open your eyes about a lot of different things that you might have been overlooking, and they could potentially help you, increase your sales with advertising and all the different things that we talked about, maybe save you money on your packaging. So make sure to not only just watch these, but actually go and do them yourselves to see how it affects your business. And we will see you in the next part of this masterclass for the Chrome extension.
All right. Thank you, Carrie, for that. Hope you guys were able to take some notes on that. We're not even done, not even halfway done, barely, with what the Chrome extension can do. So stay tuned. In a few weeks, we're going to have part 2 of this series where you're going to learn even more stuff. We'll see you in the next episode.